As a positivity psychologist, this is a question that comes up. How can I encourage positivity without offending people who are really hurting? Let's start here because there's an important difference between what I call positivity and something that you may have heard about, toxic positivity. There's an important difference. Let's start with an understanding of what positivity is and what it isn't. If you've heard of toxic positivity, you probably know what I'm talking about here, where we just ignore the pain. We completely dismiss someone's challenges or difficulties or problems, and we paste on a smile and we say, just think positive. How annoying is that? And it denies what positivity actually is. When I mention positivity, I don't mean the trite, fluffy, just think positive that you might hear from a motivational speaker or someone who doesn't understand. I'm talking about the proper operation of the equipment of our own mind. And there are some choices involved that aren't really even choices until you see it as such. Part of my job as a psychologist is to illuminate the obvious, which is fun because I get paid to tell people things they already know, or to show them things that they already see. But there's a lot of obvious things that are unnoticed. Obvious but unnoticed. Go there for just a moment. How about your clothing? Can you feel it? Now that I mention it, you can feel it. But you didn't notice it until it was called to your attention. There are processes going on in our mind all the time that are obvious once they're called to your attention, but unnoticed up until that point. So here's one of the processes I want you to notice that's going on in your own mind. It's called judgment, or evaluation is a more technical term for it. It's where we take whatever is going on, where we are, what we have, what just happened, the experiences that are going on, the circumstances of our life, and we judge it. Just notice that you're doing this, and you can't turn it off any more than you can turn off gravity. You have to judge what's going on around you. Now, the word evaluation itself implies comparison with some standard. And if you don't have a standard to judge against, you're going to make one up, and you've got a really amazing imagination too. When we look at our life circumstances, let's say that you were in an accident, for example, okay? Maybe there was even an injury in that accident. That is your circumstance. What is your mind going to do with that? It's going to judge it. It's going to say that this is bad, or this is good, or this is painful, or this is difficult, or this is awesome, or whatever it is. You're going to come up with a judgment. To do that, you have to compare it to something. So when you say this is bad, what's implied there is it's bad compared to something better. Do you see that? Or if you say that it's good, well, it's good compared to something worse. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to think. I don't have that kind of authority. I just want you to see that you are thinking and that your thinking makes a difference. Positivity is basically acknowledging that we have a choice in the way we evaluate or judge whatever is going on. This includes our relationships, it includes our finances, our health, our circumstances, the government, the economy. Whatever it is that we're judging, we have a choice in how we judge it. Go back to the accident for just a minute. Maybe it's an accident where you had an injury, okay? Think about the injury for a moment. Could it have been worse? Oh yeah. Could it have been better? Clearly. So here you are between better and worse. Always. I think that's always true. Don't take my word for it. Run it through your own filters and see if it is. That what it is always between better and worse. And if that's true, then you have some choice as to which direction you look to make your comparison or your judgment. Just notice it. Again, I'm not here to tell you how to think, but I do want you to see that you are, because that's important in understanding what positivity is. It's not ignoring the pain. It's not pretending that everything's peachy. It's acknowledging that we have a choice in how we judge it. And if we have a choice, we can choose something that serves us well. Now, there's another level of this where it extends beyond what is our current reality into what is to be. And that doesn't exist yet because we haven't created it yet. And we've got something to do with it. But tune in with this for just a minute. You don't know what's coming. Oh, you've got predictions, I know. You've got expectations. You've got some projections of what is coming. But you don't know. How are you doing next week? You don't know. You've got something to do with it, but you don't know. So all you can do is imagine that. And in imagining it, remember, you can always imagine something better. You can always imagine something worse. What happens when we imagine or predict or expect that what's coming is worse than what we've already got? How do we feel? This, my friends, is anxiety. There's 30 years of clinical experience in a nutshell. It's when we imagine that what's coming is worse than what we've got. We don't know, but we've got a pretty good imagination. What happens when we imagine or predict or expect that what's coming is even better than what we've already got? How do we feel? Woohoo! This is excitement, hope, anticipation. And we don't know. So notice that you've got a choice in what you're predicting or expecting. And this gets tricky because we already know that we're right in our predictions. It's going to be bad. And somehow we know that? No, we don't. Notice that you've got a choice. And again, I'm not here to tell you how to think. I just want you to see that you are. So we've got these two processes now, evaluation and creation. You can't turn them off. They're constantly in play. You have some choice as to how you do both of those. But until you see it as a choice, it's not. That's why I want to bring that to your awareness. Now, we've been talking about positivity. We also want to know, how do we encourage positivity without offending people who are actually hurting? Before I get into how we're going to help other people to be more positive, if you like what you're seeing here and you're still watching the video, would you just take a moment to click on that subscribe button right down there? Click subscribe, and then you won't miss any of the content that's coming your way to help you with these processes. Now, how do we encourage that positivity? I think the best thing we can do is be an example of it, where we show that we're in choice about how we judge and evaluate things, about what we expect and anticipate to come. Be the example that you want to encourage in other people, and this includes especially your kids. If they see you all the time saying, oh, this is terrible, or I can't handle this, or terrible things are going to happen, what do you think they're going to pick up on? So you get to practice this yourself. Become the example of what it is you're trying to teach. I also think that empathy is an important precursor to being able to influence other people. They don't want to learn anything from you until they know that they can trust you and that you get them and that you're willing to listen and understand and show some empathy. Empathy has two important components: that you understand and care how someone else feels. So instead of jumping in or riding in like the cavalry to rescue them, simply be there with and for them as they're experiencing whatever difficulties they're going through. It's not your job to fix it, and they're not wrong about how they feel. In fact, usually as we encounter difficult things in our life, we're supposed to feel certain things. So be there with them. Show some empathy. Remember, it's not your job to make sure that they're happy or to cause them to feel any particular way. If you really care about them, allow them to experience whatever feelings they're having. And then be the example, like we talked about already. You be the example of living and thinking in a more positive way. That's going to have a more profound and powerful impact than anything you could ever say. I've thrown a lot at you in just a few minutes. We'll go into more detail in this Positivity web class. Remember, it's not about just think positive. It's about understanding the psychology behind it. We'll go into some more depth. drpauljenkins.com/positivity. I've got your back on this. I've got you.